Shout out to Money Brown, man. Errol Spence Jr. My boy Money Brown. He get a lot of money. That's why I call him Money Brown.
What's good, Money Brown TV? What up, what up?
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to Money Brown TV. Thank you so much for everything.
Hey, this is Ryan Garcia here. Shout out to Money Brown TV. And keep punching, baby.
Yo, what's going on out there, Fight World? This your boy Money back with another one, fam. And this one here is on 3 big dogs in this fight game. We have the legendary Canelo Alvarez, the hottest fighter on the planet, the #1 pound-for-pound king, the 4-division world champion, the current undisputed super middleweight world champion. Then we have Errol, the true Spence Jr., the king of the welterweight division, the WBC and IBF unified world champion. Then we have Terence Crawford, the 3-division world champion, the former undisputed world champion, and the current WBO welterweight world champion. Now, we all know Errol Spence came out and praised Canelo Alvarez, giving him his just due. You know what I'm saying? Canelo Alvarez is not ducking nobody. Canelo Alvarez can do what he wants. He earned that right. You understand? And what he's doing is unheard of by going up and down in weight classes, knocking out motherfuckers, collecting titles. That's what you call a pound-for-pound king. But if you ask Money Brown, bro, if you ask me, right, Canelo Alvarez picks Errol the True Spence Jr. to defeat Terence Crawford. Canelo Alvarez picks Errol the True Spence Jr. to defeat Terence T-Bud Crawford, who's a hell of a fighter in himself. You know what I mean? But when you look at Canelo Alvarez, bro, we just say real, recognize real, right? Canelo always gives Errol the True Spence Jr. his just doing his credit. Always. Always. And I tell y'all this every time, bro. Every time. For Canelo to look at Errol and say he would have been the only fighter for him to come down to 160 pounds to fight, you know he think highly of Errol the True Spence Jr. He got to think highly of Errol the True Spence Jr. Errol Spence being from Texas, him coming to Dallas, Texas, you know, selling out the Cowboy, well, almost selling out the Dallas Cowboy Stadium, being Canelo, right? Knowing what Errol and Mikey Garcia did there. But just looking at the buzz of Errol Spence, looking at the style of Errol Spence, and looking at how consistent Errol Spence has been, even though he went through his car crash, and now that he's going through his eye situation, knowing he had Manny Pacquiao on the table, and Manny Pacquiao is willing to fight him, Canelo Alvarez is willing to fight him, then that's telling you that Errol Spence has what? Star power. I say Errol the True Spence Jr. has what? Star power. Can't leave that out, bro. But I just feel like Canelo Alvarez look at Errol Spence as a better fighter than Terence T-Bud Crawford. And I feel like he respect Errol Spence more than he respect Terence T-Bud Crawford. This is just my feelings. I don't need people crying and running around like little chumps, little girls, saying this shit, right? For once, we know Terence Crawford came out and tried to discredit Canelo Alvarez by saying he's afraid and ducking black fighters, right? When we know Terence Bud Crawford haven't fought, you know, the top notch of the black fighters, right? We know that it's a battle going on with people saying, oh, who's the #1 pound-for-pound king with with Terence Bud Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, right? I got Canelo. You know, a lot of people have Bud. But I think Canelo's the #1 pound-for-pound king, especially with what he's been doing. And, you know, Terence Bud Crawford felt like it's him and things of that nature, right? So he's going to resent Canelo a little bit. And, you know, he brought up the situation, tried to make it as if Canelo was, you know, doing something wrong and cheating the game. Y'all know what it is. Talking about he's on this and on that shit. You know, just discredit Canelo Alvarez and the hard work that he put in at once upon a time. But, you know, Terence Bud Crawford jumped to his senses. And he started giving Canelo his just doing his credit. But a man like Errol the True Spence Jr. has always gave Canelo Alvarez his just doing his credit. You feel me? But I just feel like Canelo see Errol Spence as a better fighter than Terence Bud Crawford, right? Even though a lot of people be saying, oh, well, Bud got more skills than Errol, and Bud can do this better than Errol, and Bud can do that. Well, we know Bud haven't fought the same competition as Errol Spence, in my opinion, once again, right? Errol Spence has been consistent. Errol Spence is going on his 4th pay-per-view. You understand what I'm saying? And now he's going up against another world champion at the welterweight division in Dennis Ugas, who's solid. You know what I mean? So you got to put all those things in perspective and give Errol Spence just doing his credit. But, like I said, for Canelo Alvarez to say he will come to 160 to fight Errol the True Spence Jr., You know, he had to have him beating Terence Crawford because Errol say he's not leaving 147 unless he become undisputed, right? Well, I ain't gonna say unless, until he become undisputed. That's the wrong word to use. Until he become undisputed. So we know Canelo Alvarez is not gonna fight no Errol Spence coming off no fucking loss, right? That don't make no sense, right? What buzz do Errol have now coming off a loss, losing to Terence Crawford? You know what I mean? And in one of the biggest fights in boxing. I mean, we got to make it make sense. We got to put the pieces to the puzzle. If Canelo was willing to face Errol the True Spence Jr., knowing Errol Spence is not leaving the welterweight division until he accomplishes his goal of becoming undisputed, like Canelo became undisputed at 168 and probably become undisputed at light heavyweight, then we got to say, you know what? Canelo is looking at Errol Spence as the victor over Terence Crawford. Am I right or am I wrong? You see what I'm saying? But I just think Canelo Alvarez respect Errol Spence a little bit more, bro. And that's why I respect Canelo and Errol Spence. And I'm not saying I don't respect Bud, because I do respect him, but you know, I had to call Bud on his bullshit sometimes. It's just the facts are the facts. The facts are the facts, bro. It is what it is. People can take it how they want to take it. You know what I mean? But when I look at Canelo, somebody who's been consistent fighting world champions after world champions after world champions, fit to fight his third undefeated world champion in a row. And then I'm looking at Errol Spence going on his fourth pay-per-view in a row, right? Fit to fight his what? Mikey, because y'all got to look at Mikey Garcia as a top 10 welterweight when he moved up. So to fight Kell Brook, Lamont Peterson, Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, now you're Dennis Ugas, that's 6 top 10 welterweights back to back to back to back to back to back to back. You understand what I'm saying? That's 6 of the top 10 welterweights all in a row for Errol the True Spence Jr. Who else is doing that, bro? Who else is doing that? And I repeat, Kell Brook was a top 10 welterweight. Lamont Peterson was a top 10 welterweight. Mikey Garcia was a top 10 welterweight. People gonna laugh at my man he put down. That was his mandatory for the IBF. He had to get him out the way. So you can't get pissed off at that. Sean Porter's a top 10 welterweight. Danny Garcia's a top 10 welterweight. Manny Pacquiao would have been a top 10 welterweight. And now your Dennis Ugas is a top 10 welterweight. If you look at the pattern of Errol Spence, he's facing nothing but the top shotters. You feel me? The top shotters. And got to give him his just doing his credit. You got to give him his just doing his credit. Whereas you got Bud Crawford, you know, facing Jeff Horn, who was a world champion. But Jose Benavidez was not a top 10 welterweight. Amir Khan was not a top 10 welterweight. Kell Brook was not a top 10 welterweight. I don't think Mean Machine was a top 10 welterweight at the time, right? So you just got to look at the competition, bro. And I think that's why Canelo Alvarez respect Errol Spence a little bit more, right? And that's why he was willing to face Errol Spence, because he's seen the star power behind Errol Spence, and Errol Spence had buzz behind him. And these just facts. And y'all know Canelo don't want to fight nobody he don't respect. You give Canelo respect, you give respect back, man. And we've seen Canelo call Errol Spence a great fighter. We've seen him call Errol Spence, you're a great fighter. You know what I mean? Because Canelo gives respect like that, bro. He don't try to shit on people. And Errol Spence the same way. Gave Canelo Alvarez all his just doing the respect he deserved. And that's why them 2 of my top fighters, bro. At the end of the day. Canelo Alvarez picks Errol the True Spence Jr. to defeat Terence Crawford. And y'all got to respect that, bro. At the end of the day, bro. And if I ever get to interview Canelo Alvarez, that will be a question that I will ask him. And I'm quite sure that Monty Brown is right. And he will say he will edge Errol Spence over Terence Crawford. But that's just me, though. You feel me? EJ, go out there, do your thing against your Dennis Ugas, get that 3rd scrap, then go get this boy Crawford and become undisputed. Canelo, go out there, beat the shit out of Bivol, bro, snatch that title, come down, beat the shit out of Triple G, then go back up and become undisputed at the light heavyweight division. And I don't give a damn what nobody say. Do what you want, Canelo. Until then, it's your boy Money. It's the NSBC moving. And nobody safe in these streets. Hit them thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. You want to donate OG Money on Cash App. TreyHampton52@gmail.com on PayPal. If not, just tell a friend. Hit that subscribe button. Like, comment, share the videos. And y'all know how your boy get down, man. Big dog status, family.